There's nothing that can grow your business faster than having confidence plus, just grounded clarity and alignment with what you're doing. But even with just confidence alone, you have superpowers and abilities to grow your business. Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. I'm so grateful to be with you today. We're going to be talking about confidence as your superpower for your business growth. And there's nothing that can grow your business faster than having confidence plus, just grounded clarity and alignment with what you're doing. But even with just confidence alone, you have superpowers and abilities to grow your business. And I wanted to help you understand how you can have this incredible confidence and be able to experience more vibrancy in your business and really in your life as well, if you think about it overall, but specifically in your business, I'm going to focus on. And this three things I'm going to talk about today that we're going to help you with that in your business specifically. All right. We're going to go ahead and get right into it.
Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation today.
So some of these things you've probably heard before, but the basics bear repeating. One of the things is having an expanded mindset. Is often in business, we have metrics and a revenue goal. We have maybe a monthly goal of what we want to see each month. And maybe some months you've hit it, some months you don't hit it. Maybe you're never hitting it because for whatever reason, it's just not happening because you have a lack of confidence. But one of the things I've learned over the years is that when I stack up the opportunities of what's possible in my business on a monthly or yearly basis, or both, much more is possible. Let me give you an example. So let's say I'm going into a month and my revenue goal, I'm just making up numbers right now. My revenue goal was 100,000 for the month, whatever. I'm just making something up. Well, my approach of dealing with having that goal would be not to think about okay, what do I do to just get exactly 100,000? That is an energy of, I have to do everything right and I have to just hit that goal. And it doesn't give you much confidence that's sustainable. You might have confidence, you write out your plan, right? If you're hopefully you write out a plan, by the way, that's not part of my three things I want to cover today, but like, honestly, like you have to have a plan, and you usually do better to have a written plan. Now, there might be exceptions, but usually you'll do better to have a written plan, at least as a beginning. So if but you sit down, let's say you write your plan for the month or the year or the quarter or what have you, all these different plans. Sometimes we utilize all of those to build our confidence. Like, okay, this month is my goal, the quarter, the year, you can break it down in all those different ways. So, but if you're looking at, let's say, a month, a lot of people focus on month to month. We'll get into more about how to expand beyond that. But if you were doing that, like, and you put a plan, you say, well, if I meet with X amount of people and I sell them this group program or this one-to-one thing or whatever, I'm going to get exactly what my goal is. In this case, let's say 100,000. Okay, wow. If I do all that, boy, it's right around 100,000 exactly. Perfect. I've got exactly what I need then. All I have to do is go out and get that done, and it'll be easy. All right. You could even have them because when you write all those plans, those moments in your mind, you just saw it happen. So you believe it's already done. You believe it's happening. For many of you, not all of you, maybe some of you are like, it's just written on paper. I don't know if I could do it. But some of you will feel like, no, you're a gamer and you're like, yeah, game on, I got this. And then you get started, and within that day or within a few days or something, or at some point in that month, you're going to be, pretty quickly like, man, I don't know if I can hit it, but yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Because the numbers aren't adding up. Then something isn't working. And now you're like, oh my God, how am I going to get there? And you get closer and closer to the end of the month, you're like, oh my God, I have 5 grand and I was going to go to 100 grand this year, or whatever it is, whatever that discrepancy is, the gap. Now, people that are really good at manifesting money, they just, even if they're in that situation, they use confidence and an overdrive inside of themselves to say, there's a couple ways you do it. Overdrive of like, whatever it takes, I'm calling those people for it now, make 100 calls today. If that's what it takes, whatever, I'm going to hit my goal no matter what. They can just totally commit and they'll hit the goal, or they won't hit the goal, but they'll do it with exhaustion often. It's heavy for a lot of people when they do. Now, if you're like, no, I just trust it's there. And I insist on it, and I'm going to take exactly the right steps because I'm being guided in every moment. Maybe that works for some of you, but most of you still will miss the goal, right? So either it's exhaustion or it's really iffy if you're going to hit the goal, because most people don't have enough connected energy with source and their intention to just trust and let guidance flow and to let it just drop in. Especially when the time frames get shorter, because we're not used to it. It's like a new muscle you're exercising. It's maybe not there for you. You just can't find the connection. You could do it today, but it's iffy if you're going to, drop into that. So it's not a lot of confidence is my point. So what's the remedy? So all that to say, what's the remedy? What am I recommending? Have, an expanded mindset, maybe even a 10x mindset. You've heard that before, right? A 10x mindset. So let's say your goal was, for keep the numbers in a place where you guys can land a little easier, maybe, or maybe not, but like maybe when you go have fun and go back to the 100K, you're like, okay, my goal is 1 million this month. Let's really expand the energy, right? My goal is 1 million this month. Um, Or let me look at the possibilities of how I could manifest at least 1 million this month. And then you draw up a plan for that. And then you're like, great. Well, my minimum goal is 100,000, but I'm focusing on 10x, and $1 million is a possibility. I'm going to actualize as much as that as possible, but my minimum is 100,000 this month. It's way easier to hit that goal. It really is, because you start doing all the things that you've got in your plan, and you're doing all the things that allow you to connect with that much more expanded energy of 1 million versus 100,000, then the 100,000 starts to look smaller. That's why down sells work a lot of time, where people are like, well, do you want this top thing? And, I've got, it's a $20,000 program. And they're like, no, I can't afford it. All right, I got a 1997 home study, or this new training I got coming up. How's that work for you? Oh, great, right? So because that price seems so much smaller, and they're gonna get all, you're gonna tell them all these benefits you'll get from that. They're like, yeah, I'm in now, right? So that's why the down sells that are 10x lower often work so well. The same thing is sort of true here. Is it's very similar. It's just how the brain works is like when you really expand and you go for way more. I would even say like I like this is a good approach that I've used. Sometimes I even just go 4x historically, and it helps a lot. So because I look at where's all the possible opportunities and ways it could happen in business and whatnot for this month in my plan. And then I go to work on that, and then yeah, so what? The idea is I may not hit it anyway, so but I may land, at 10K if 10K was my goal, whereas maybe I was focused on 40K, something like that. And they give other numbers, but so it just allows it to be a lot easier. Yes, it is sort of like shoot for the stars, land on the moon kind of stuff, and it does work. So, but also to add into that is an unlimited mindset, which means as much as possible. So as much as possible, I'm going to make as much money as possible this month. I'm going to serve as many people as possible, which is the most important thing. Focus on really, but I'm going to make as much money as possible within that, as long as it serves I is good. It's not about, I don't want to make it sound like it's only greed and like, just greed in the fact of like, it's just all dollar signs, but it's total expansion and as much as possible, as rich as possible for everybody, highest results for everybody, unlimited mindset, what more is possible coming from unlimited. But if you ground it with 10x, you'll tend to do better, because it's more of an actual target that, part of your being really is your mind. It's not an illusion that you have a mind. it's still there, as much as we say it's an illusion, it creates illusions and all this stuff, but it can focus on something, right? You spiritual rock stars, we want to continue to use the power of the mind, the enlightened mind. So anyway, go 10x. 10x is way easier. There's lots of teachers I've listened to say, go 10x with everything. 10x, do 10x the contacts, 10x the follow-up, 10x this and that, 10x everything. Have a 10x mindset with everything, and it will boost your confidence because like, man, I'm so planting the seeds that there's no way I'm not experiencing a breakthrough financially, and the amount of clients I serve, the impact I'm making, the amount of money I'm making, whatever, all the different metrics. Okay. All right. So that's number one. Okay, so drum roll. All right, let's go to the next one. Another way of really thriving overall, even beyond like a 10x mindset, is to think in terms of a 10-year intention, a 10-year intention. So what is your intention? Let's say if we just go to business, what's your intention over the next 10 years to manifest in your business in terms of how many people you're going to serve, like how much money you're going to make, all those types of things, whatever you want to, go with, but like whatever the intentions you may want to develop. But like, I just want to hit on this one concept, having a 10-year intention. For me, like I have a financial 10-year intention, and it's really clear, it's really focused. It's within no matter what it's happening kind of mentality with great job, love, joy, and fulfillment for me and for all and for everything of my highest purpose. And it's done, it's done. When it's done, it's done. It's happening. So being of that 10-year intention gives you a confidence, because you would think like, oh, but it's so overwhelming, this big number, you're coming up with big stuff you're going to do. But it isn't, because it actually gives you a lot of fuel to think in terms of developing things over the long term, rather than everything's like, man, I got to just hit that goal this month or this year or whatever. Like, I just need to get these deals done or whatever. I've got to make money. I've got to help people. But instead, like, you're preparing yourself for a big 10-year intention, more than, a bit more than, at least, or a lot more maybe, than you are for your short-term or medium-term goals. So, of course, you can have like a 1-year, quarter, a year, 5-year plans, like whatever. Even if it's just an intention, I think these elaborate plans, over long term aren't necessarily always the best for most of us, but having a specific intention is really a powerful. I've seen many entrepreneurs do this. I've done it myself with my businesses, and it definitely has helped me to propel my business. So have a 10-year intention. I have a current 10-year intention, and I can't say enough about it. It brings you such peace, it brings you such confidence, because because when you actually not only have the intention, but you've decided like it's going to happen. So it's not really an intention ultimately, only like I'm intending, I hope, but a true intention to me is ultimately you made the decision. I've decided this is happening. You realize you have the power to decide this is happening. And it's always a minimal goal, because you want to plan beyond that with a 10x mindset. Yeah, and if I'm going for 2 million a year, ultimately within or 20 million, let's say, or if those numbers are too small, but 20 million a year by year 10 or whatever, I'm going to generate $50 million in revenue or something, like, in the next 10 years, like, wow, you don't know what year that might happen, like a big chunk of that, right? You might start hitting it fast, but if you don't, man, it's a 10-year goal, gives you a lot of confidence, and yet it helps you to, if you stay committed, the key with that is like, well, how do you, once you decide, you have to commit every single day to it. Like every single day you're committing again to your, every day you remember, for me, I write some of these things down, but for me, if it's a really simple thing, I do find to just continue to remember it, because it's something I truly desire. It's another thing with these intentions. You have to truly desire it. It's not like, well, it's a nice idea. It'd be nice to have. Oh, it'd be so cool to have that. That's not good enough. You have to actually have like a burning desire for it. It's Think and Grow Rich, right? It is true. You need a burning desire for something, or it's the chances of it actually bringing you fulfillment are really small, and the chances of it happening are really small. So something with a burning desire, that's your intention within 10 years. Maybe it's $10 million in assets or whatever. You can make whatever financial goals you want. Whatever goals you want in your life or your business, you can do that. Focusing more on business today, of course. So a 10-year intention, you decide, and yes, you can break it down like, okay, I'll need to bring X amount of people through this program that I've got, or this, work with X amount of one-to-ones, or, crank out X amount of units of this or that if you've got a different kind of business. But yeah, there's so much that can go into that. And the plans may change and evolve. You may not know for sure, but you've got that minimal goal. It's a minimal goal, and you're like, yeah, and it could be 10x that. I'm committed to the idea that it could be 10x what that 10-year intention is. Now you've got something huge. Well, I'm thinking about having 10 million in assets in 10 years. But really, like, what if I played as though I'm going for 100 million in 10 years, and say like that's my minimal goal, it's 10 million. Now you're really tuning in to the frequency of 100 million to catapult you up. So you may, and then your mind's creative. You might be like, well, I may as well focus even on a trillion then. And if it's completely unattainable in your mind, like, forget about it. Like, it's not going to help you. If it's like, well, it's possible, like, if you have at least that, it will pull you. It will pull you forward. So like it's just as simple again as like the martial arts concepts. If you ever done any martial arts with breaking boards and stuff, right? They say don't focus on just kind of getting, breaking the board alone, like when you do that kind of thing, but to focus all the way through the board, like, a foot or more beyond the board, or 10 feet beyond the board, maybe even, depending on the teacher or how, but you're focused way beyond the board, and that therefore you easily can break the board. And it's a proven technique. When you focus beyond the goal, you are going to see much greater results, and you more assuredly will break that board, more assuredly will see the results that you are intending, the things that are kind of the bottom line intentions. All right, so that's my next key to building confidence. Um, and another one is, of course there's always other ones I'm not going to get to today, but loving yourself, knowing you're worth it, all that stuff. You have to have that confidence, the confidence for no reason, and all that stuff. Okay, like, and just unconditionally, let's, like, I'm an unlimited being, I'm going for it, I can hit all these goals, I can hit the 10-year because I'm unlimited, everything's possible, I'm going for it. And realizing you get to experience who you really are more and more as an expanded being by going that direction. So I'll just add that in for number 2. All right, so okay, because I want to get to the number 3, which is the one that for some of you isn't as sexy, which is consistent activities. Okay. Oh my goodness. Because some of us are really creative. We love to be more artists than we like to be mechanics. Some of you don't mind being consistent, but most of you probably are a little bit more like, I want to just be an artist. I just want to do what I want to do. That it might even work if you're consistent with it, but it's doubtful. Most entrepreneurs and business owners do better to have plugged in metrics and specific activities that you're going to need to take care of in order to put yourself in a position to hit your goals. Period. 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 All right. I just really emphasize that one. Period. No, there's no going back and forth on that one. And I find repetition is really helpful. Period. Period. Consistent activities. Period. Okay, don't try to get around this one. All right. Unless it's already working for you to do something completely different, God bless you. Enjoy. You're probably still being way more limited than the person that takes consistent activities and does what I suggest. But God bless you. You got a 100 grand business, a 200 grand business. That's great. I mean, that's wonderful. I mean, but in a grand scheme of things, guys, those are not big businesses, right? So if you want to be a spiritual rock star that's, beyond that in terms of your expansion and your impact, and you've got a big purpose, which is, my biggest target, my most targeted audience for this show is people, whatever stage you are in it, like, you have a big purpose, then you're going to need to take consistent activities. How many keynotes you're going to have to do a year? How many events do you need to put together per year if you want to do that? How many enrollment calls do you need to have every week? Like, that's the number one for the vast majority of you. How many enrollment calls per week? Or, at least per month, but usually per week, you're going to blow it if you don't focus per week often. So per week, how many enrollment calls? 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 Or energy scan enrollment calls. Like some of us offer energy scans that go through my trainings, and I offer some energy scans, but like, how many enrollment calls? So in other words, you may be offering a discovery session or whatever it is, the thing you do, but you're going to make an offer. So that's an enrollment call. So how many do you have set up in your calendar every single week? So you have to make sure you've made space for it. You have to make sure your schedule can support the intention, that you either literally block those out in your calendar, or your calendar is open and flexible enough to accommodate exactly what it is that you're intending. Otherwise, you'll be like, well, I don't know how to fit it in, and there's all these question marks, right? So the more you can make it clear, and the more you can have more confidence, because you've already decided, you already have open slots pegged in on your schedule for people to book for those sessions. And then what do? You simply fill them in. And when you're like, I don't know I don't know how this works. And, I think I know what to do. I just do some posts on social media, and I'll send out an email, and I'll ask some people if they want to here and there. And we'll see if we get there. I don't know. I can't control that part, right? All I can do is intend, or all these ideas. You know what it is? It's that you are not willing to feel uncomfortable enough to allow more clients to come in. I'll say it again. It's not that it's so complicated or hard to get clients. The only hard part of it is, I'll say it another way, is that you don't want to feel the discomfort you'll have to feel and move through in going ahead and getting those clients. So although you would be really happy to have the clients, there's a discomfort in the process because, you don't want to sell to people. You feel weird about marketing or whatever it is. And some of you don't have that issue. I get it. But some of you do. And if you're trying to go to a whole nother level of sales and a whole another level of clients, or whatever the metric is, there's probably discomfort because you haven't been there before. It's an unknown. Therefore, we haven't done it before. Should we do it? It's something new. And then you make the decision to do it. Like I said before, it's all about making these decisions. Then again, it's key number 3, consistent activities. What are the consistent activities I need to do every day that are going to allow me to fill in those enrollment slots, first and foremost? But yeah, all the different metrics, whether you're going to be doing, partnerships with, how many JV partners am I going to need for this launch? How many, podcasts am I going to go on? How many referral partners am I going to, reach out to this month? How many network meetings? How many whatever podcast episodes you're going to do? How many Facebook lives? How many posts? How many DMs? How many, how many? And you just dial that in, and then you commit to it, and you stick to it. When you make a decision, you stick to it, unless it's absolutely obvious, beyond obvious, that you need to adjust, your focus. Because too often people just keep changing their minds. They're all over the place. But the more you can be consistent and could stay with your decisions that felt so expanded, felt so good, felt so true for you, and you knew there was going to be discomfort along the way. It's part of the plan. Like, I don't need to feel super uncomfortable all the time, because if I embrace discomfort, it won't be as uncomfortable because my new comfort zone, right? But you would just plan in advance. It's going to be uncomfortable. I know it's going to be uncomfortable. So I've already accepted that. And I'm willing to feel all that discomfort, because no one's going to die in this process. Okay. I mean, if they buy, so to speak, if they want to invest, you're not going to die, no matter where you are financially. If, or no matter how much more richer you're going to get, right, financially, no matter how much more impact you have, you're not going to die. You're not going to die, right? Not now, anyway. Not yet. You're not going to die, if they sign up and it was oh my God, they give us their last pennies and maxed out their credit card, or they did this or they did that. They're not going to die either. I mean, what's more likely if you actually show up fully and they're actually a good fit is you're going to change their life and there's going to be more blessings than ever before in their life. And that's what I have seen in part. Like, definitely there's been people that, hesitated in working with me at times, along all these years. And there are some of them that I just knew were such a good fit. I says, this is a no brainer. You got to take this action, but it's up to you. And then people decide they're going to do whatever they're going to do with their credit cards. They decide they're not going to pay a mortgage payment because they know there's so much more on the other side. And then it works out. And then all of a sudden, like, they're making more money than ever before. So, again, this isn't one of the three, but you have to get the false beliefs and ideas out of the way. And you got to keep clearing those out as you take the consistent actions. So while you're in motion, rather than, no, I need to keep clearing my blocks, then I'll take action. No, it needs to be more like, I'm going to take action. And as I feel like I'm constricted and I feel limited, I'm going to clear my blocks. So it's a way more enlightened path, a way more effective path. Just decide. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take action to clear my blocks while I'm in action. But I'll make a fool of myself. I might look stupid. I might screw it up. I want to know I'm going to get it right up front. Blah, 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 whatever the stories are. It's like, okay, well, clear those while you take this actions anyway, because it's the great fools that, make the most impact, that do the greatest service to humanity. Everybody, Jesus was laughed at, Buddha, I'm sure, was laughed at. Everybody's been laughed at. Everybody's been ridiculed. Everybody's looked like the fool at some point that's done bigger impact. Maybe many times, many, many times. And so you have to be willing to experience the sense of getting it wrong and it was so screwed up and everything. I sure have many, many times, because it's kind of, it's all part of the path. It's part of what you need to embrace. Take the consistent actions and keep clearing the energy as you're in action, in committed action. Sure, you can download it, intuit what those actions are going to be and what the activities are going to be that you're going to commit to consistently. Fine. But once you decide, don't just keep going all over the place with the wind. You have to be grounded enough. You have to be in those lower chakras aligned enough and keep taking those actions. All right, so those are three keys to really build your confidence in your results. I mean, really both. I mean, of course, right? The business growth. So anyway, so I encourage you to go ahead and adopt all three of these as much as possible. And let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know about it. If you are feeling some energy shifts and new decisions happening right now for you, you're making some new decisions, give me a like as well. If you're on YouTube, if you're not on YouTube, or if you're on YouTube, subscribe. You like to get bell notifications with my stuff coming up, do that if that's available, whatever platform you're listening on. And yeah, just have a great time making these things a reality, the 10x mindset, 10-year intentions, and consistent activities. Embrace it, guys, these grounded actions, these focused things. I've talked about all kinds of things. I channel, I do all that stuff too. But these things are really important. These things are the bedrock foundation, the grounded things that can make a huge, huge difference and make everything so much easier. That the top influencers, entrepreneurs, movers and shakers in the world use such things to allow themselves to go to those heights. I know there's always an exception, but the most people are using these things. Even the most 5D people are using these things often in their lives. So the ones that playing at the highest level, it's not even at like, well, this one person's got a multi six-figure business that barely does anything or whatever. Doesn't do any consistency or whatever. Okay, that's a very small business still, though. So know that you can expand more. All right. Okay, everybody. So grateful for you. You're amazing. Like I say at the end of every show, Keep on tuning in, and we'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till the next time, everyone. You're listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.